That's when the lion came.
Well, that's good.
When I was 2.
I need that validation because am I really talking to a fucking
tree?
no,
because you told me about Zeroth and you're like, he's like looking at you playing at like toys and stuff like that. And I was like, shit, he was looking through my lion. Hi, I'm Em.
And I'm Liv. And we're your meta PsycKicks.
So, today we're going to be talking about our spirit guides again, because we did a video a really long time ago, like at the beginning of our channel, when I didn't even know I had spirit guides, and now I have a lot more. Okay, so these are my spirit guides. I'm going to talk about them first, and then Liv's going to read me. So, the first spirit guide that I supposedly think is the one I came in with his name is Zeroth. And Zeroth, I think, means like golden light or something. But he's a big blue shape-shifty cloud. He came in because he deals with understanding. So as a child, having a blue spirit guide come in with you, it shows you that I want to know everything about everything. It is understanding beyond what's physically in front of you. He also is kind of like a security blanket or like a weighted blanket, so he sits on top of me and is kind of like a weighted vest. So he helps my anxiety, and he has golden light in his center in order to make me, like, in order to heal the anxiety and the stress, because golden light usually deals with healing. But he's very masculine presenting. He is a character, he has a lot of like genie in a bottle characteristics. He's kind of like the Aladdin genie dude, very much. That's who he is as a person.
Woo! I'm the best.
He is very opposite of me and pushes me to do things, which is why he's the first guide. He's also blue because he helps me with speaking, so he's kind of like throat chakra-y. Rosaline is my second spirit guide. Rosaline, colors are weird because I didn't read spirit guides when I was like, I wasn't reading spirit guides until Liv was telling me them, so I don't have colors for all of them because Liv was telling me who they were.
She's red.
Rosaline, I feel like, is red and gold, and I usually view her as blonde. She has shoulder-length blonde hair. I'll see her physically sometimes, it's weird. But she usually has her hair pulled back, but sometimes it's not in a bun. And she is what I refer to as my Akashic Records spirit guide. The Akashic Records is like big spiritual library. We did a video on it, but it holds all the information of existence. And we believe that each person has an Akashic Records spirit guide, and that is basically the spirit guide that holds your life book, that basically like knows what the plan is in order for us to like do things together. She's my Akashic guide. My next one was Excelsior.
He's such a little bitch.
Excelsior is like this tiny thing. He's like probably this big for me. Liv says he looks like one of the knights that say knee from Monty Python.
Who are you? We are the knights who say... No.
If you don't put it in this video, I'm gonna be really sad. 3 words for shrubbery. Okay.
But he's very clairaudient. He came forward when I started reading tarot, and he basically sits on my shoulder and like, I don't know, whispers sweet nothings to me. But he does not like talking to anyone else other than me, or he says specifically like he only says things to people when he's supposed to because it's a waste of his breath.
Yeah, he's extremely sassy.
But he's like 6 inches tall. He is usually green for me. So he deals with a lot of physical understanding and helping me understand situations and stuff like that. Next spirit guide is Finea, and that's the closest that I can say to her name. She is a fairy. She is pink and white. She is a light fairy, like physical light. She deals with that. She helps me with my mediumship, but a lot of times pink spirit guides will also deal with, I don't know, usually people that have pink spirit guides are caretakers for other people, so you usually get a pink spirit guide that gives you self-love because you want to take away the pain and suffering of everyone else. So you get pink spirit guide that does that for you. So she has been helping my mediumship a lot, and she says that she's been helping me with like self-worth lately, which is gross. Apparently she also has some sort of fly familiar thing, because she normally is like human-sized for me, but I feel like she's like tiny. Like if a fly was the size of a dog, that's how big she is.
Sounds horrifying.
That's what you told me.
Can you imagine if you just see a dog with some big ass fly wings just like, I don't know, playing fetch?
So my next guide was Serendipity. And Serendipity, Liv says she's some sort of fae being that looks like a mermaid.
Mm-hmm.
I don't necessarily see her that way. I see her as like a woman-looking thing with blonde hair, but Liv usually sees her as blue. She has a blue tail and she has blue hair. But she deals with understanding, very blunt way of speaking. She very much talks to me when I am at the like brinks of despair. She comes forward and is like, here is a very blunt statement that you know is true, but you needed to hear from me. So she comes in very clairaudient, very claircognizantly, and just explains things to me, because for me, when I have understanding, it makes things less anxiety-inducing. Next spirit guide is Sebastian. Sebastian is what I like to refer to as my ascendant master, which that is usually your spirit guide that helps you go through drastic change in your life. So they usually step forward when you're going through some crazy amount of change, but they're usually associated to a lot of your past lives. They're usually like someone existing when you exist. So it's kind of like this, it's similar but not exact, but it's kind of like Roku from Avatar: The Last Airbender. It's like Roku to Aang. So it's one of his past lives. My Sebastian is not necessarily my past life, it's someone that I know, but they basically help you to understand like your life's purpose and the changes that go on with your life and stuff like that, things that are tied to your soul. So that's Sebastian. I usually see him as blue and green. So blue, green, and yellow. So he helps me with understanding beyond the physical realm, but he helps me also with understanding of society and physical things. And then he gives me emotional intelligence surrounding that understanding. Then I have Roshaku. Roshaku is my big red and gray dragon. He is very claircognizant and clairaudient, so I can hear his scales. It sounds like chainmail, but he's a big Chinese dragon, so like his head is probably the size of a car. He came forward high school-ish time, but since he's a red spirit guide, he deals with safety and security. But gray usually deals with dissociation in a foggy sort of way. So that was the time in which I was very anxious and not okay, so he came forward to help quiet things. Because in high school I dealt with a lot of panic attacks and stuff like that, so he came forward to help me figure out how to regulate my body, is what he wants me to say. But it's interesting because for graduation of high school, college, my grad cap was a dragon hat and it was red. My next spirit guide is Lunessa. She is a white spirit guide. I see her as like an anime girl with white hair. She has a white and blue dress on, and she's associated to the moon. So white spirit guides, like I said with Liv's spirit guides, white spirit guides usually deal with a lot of adaptation. So if you understand white light, you have all of the colors of the rainbow in white light. So it's all of these different areas of life that you need to have an ability to adapt to. But I also feel like she deals with a lot of gold things, which is very healing. She talks about how my mediumship is going to change in the next few years, and she's going to help me understanding those things. But it's also beyond just that. It's just a lot of life changes that she's going to help me understand and heal myself and other people through the process. Next, the spirit guide. I have this big Titan dude. These are the ones that don't have names because they're recent. But I have this big Titan dude. He looks like hardened lava, but he's in the shape of a person, and then he has holes for his eyes, and there's blue light that glows out of them. So he's my black and blue spirit guide. Black, for me, deals with trauma and dissociation. He is new, like very new. And he has been helping me bring light to a lot of the dissociation that has been going on in my life. So for the longest time, I felt like I had to be put in this box or try to fit a mold, and he is helping me to understand why I felt like I needed to do that and deny different parts of me. So he's giving me understandings of the parts of me that I tried to dissociate. I have a purple spirit guide that looks like Mob from Mob Psycho 100. Purple usually deals with psychic or mental space. He's interesting. I don't know, he has a lot of energy, a lot of like, I don't know, if you watch Mob Psycho, when he has emotions, he like goes from 0 to 100 and then psychic things start happening and broccoli happens in the middle of the city. That's why he looks like Mob to me. But he's been dealing with, or he's been helping me with a lot of the like emotional stuff. So if you understand purple, you make it with red and blue. So blue is understanding, red is safety and security. So when both of those colors come together, it's understanding of why you didn't feel safe and secure. So it's a lot of information 24/7 of trying to understand all of the emotions that I have had to suppress since I was a little kid. That's why he's here. I also have two seraphins. I have two seraphins, which are like the highest rank of angel as spirit guides. So the first one, her name is Sarah. I think it's Seraphina.
Okay. I thought you were going to say one of them is named Sarah and the other one's name is Finn.
I don't know what the other one's name is. I just know the one.
Her name is Finn.
Seraphina. You can ask him. He's very sassy. But I have a light seraph and a dark seraph. Two seraphim, because that's the plural and non-plural. I don't know. So the first one, she says her name is Seraphina, which is also why I got to the idea of she's a seraphim. I don't really know why they're here. I feel like they've been here a while, but I have not been aware of them until recently. And the reason why I'm aware of them is because I was asking them about like timeline stuff, and she was showing me like how you're able to, like, I don't know, she was showing me how you're able to make decisions before you come into existence. So she helps me gain perspective on a lot of things, but she is so loud and intense because she's a seraph. But she's the light version, so she's a white spirit guide. She gives so much understanding, adaptability, and is helping me a lot through a lot of the changes in my life. And then there's the balance to her, which there's this, I don't know, he introduced himself as the magician dude. And he is a dark seraphim. So you have light angels and then fallen angels. He is a fallen angel, specifically of the rank seraph or seraphim. I don't know what he does. I just figured out he existed.
That was a good sound.
So, you ready? Did I miss any? You want to tell me about the ones I have already? Do you need the list?
Oh, I'm gonna tell you. Well, I was trying to think about ones that you might not know about.
Well, you can talk about the ones that I have too.
Okay.
You can also talk about this magician dude because I don't know anything about him.
He's funny.
So, he is very rude.
I like him. He's funny.
He's like talking to Beelzebub, but like 10 times ruder.
He's very clairaudient.
Mm-hmm.
I'll ignore him for a second.
What?
I'm gonna ignore him for a second.
Oh, okay.
I feel like you have a guide before Zeroth.
Okay, then what is it?
I feel like they're related to trees, but they're very, very, very quiet. Like, they don't talk, they don't make noise, they're just claircognizant, and claircognizance is not my mojo.
When did Zeroth come in then?
When you were 2.
That's
Sorry.
interesting.
Immediately.
Yeah, because that's when I got that lion, because Zeroth puts himself in a stuffed lion that I had since I was 2 years old. That's when the lion came.
Well, that's
when
good.
I was 2.
I need that validation, because
Uh-huh.
am I really talking to a fucking
Well,
tree?
no, because you told me about Zeroth, and you were like, he's like looking at you playing at like toys and stuff like that, and I was like, shit, he was looking through my lion. But that makes sense. I knew you were gonna say that too.
A tree guide?
No, I just knew you were gonna tell me that he wasn't the first one.
Oh, okay. Well, it just feels weird to me because I was like, I thought Zeroth was the first one. So now that I'm like asking and it's not, I was like, my life is a lie. But they're very, very, very quiet. I don't know what they want me to say, that it deals with your soul coming here. That's what they helped you with. Because it's almost like you didn't want to live... Now, okay, it's not that you didn't want to live this life. It's just that you...
Is it like out of character?
No, it's not out of character.
Okay.
They're just saying that your decision as a soul to come into this life was a big one for your soul to make. Cause,
Okay. What does
like,
that mean?
we're going to talk about this in our podcast after this. That we're going to record after this. Because we're going to talk about past lives and incarnation and stuff like that and heaven, whatever. But something that's been bothering me for a couple days is, for whatever reason on Snapchat, there's this girl, I don't know what her name is, but she sued her parents and legally won because she, like, I didn't watch the whole thing, it made me angry, or not angry, but annoyed, and I was like, this is dumb, I'm not watching the rest of it. But the gist of it is that there's a woman out there who sued her parents and legally won, saying that they didn't have permission to like conceive her because they should have sought out a psychic medium to say that she wanted to be born.
Okay.
And it
Did
just...
she won?
Yes!
How?
I don't know! There's so many things that just like bother me about it, and it just baffles me because as a psychic medium, I've talked to a handful of children that are unborn, and every single child tells me that they pick their parents before they incarnate.
Yeah.
So I'm like, if your parents did see a psychic medium and they were a psychic medium, then you would know that your soul chose your parents. So I don't understand how you legally won this battle, but also as a medium, that doesn't make sense because you did pick your parents. So anyways, but they're just making me think that because I'm like, what do you do, tree guide? And they're like, here's this stupid memory that you have from Snapchat. And I was like, okay. I'm like, well, what does that have to do with anything? And they're like, I'm the guide that helped her like make roots in this life to incarnate because it was a big decision for you. But you did it very slowly, like how a tree grows roots. You didn't, like, when we went to go see the astrologer lady, she told me that the reason I was almost 3 months early is because when my soul decided to incarnate in this life, they literally were like, came into the world. Yours was like, I really have to think about this. And you took a really long time to decide.
Because I want to know everything. So.
Yeah, they don't give
spirit guide.
They don't give me the answer. They're masculine feeling, But they just want me to say that your soul's choice to incarnate in this life was like a tree growing roots. It takes a really long time.
Well, is it because it's different than any of the other lives I've lived?
No. Because it's a lot more complex than that.
Okay.
So. I also feel like you have another guide, and they're a cloud. They're different than Zeroth, because Zeroth is like a grown-ass man, and this cloud gives me like more teenager angsty kind of vibes a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
He's really giggly and he thinks he's funny, but he's blue and he deals with understanding, and white, I assume, because, well, not white, but adaptability, because he's a cloud. But he looks like a thundercloud. And he shows me a lion, and I was like, wait, am I talking to Zeroth? Like, literally the whole time you were talking, I was being mind-bended by your guides. Because I'm like, what are you talking about? And they show me that your time in your life right now is very much like a lion, but specifically a male lion. Because you've made a decision to, if you know, like, about lion structure, social structures, females stay with the pride and they like help do things and provide for others, and their social structure is immaculate. But male lions, once they get large enough, they leave the pride and try to find their own one. Mm-hmm. But they have to be careful because they can't just walk into another pride. They have to like establish their own thing. And they're like, okay, you've been given the choice to either be a female lion or a male lion in your life. And for whatever reason, you're choosing to be a male one. So now you need to figure out where your loyalties are and how you want to go about establishing or trying to join another pride. Like, what are you going to do?
Okay.
That's just the way they show me it. Like, you are a male lion and you're going off and doing your own male duty thing.
Mm-hmm.
So, do with that what you will. But the spirit guide is like a cloud, like a lightning cloud. So things happen really fast, but it happens from the ground up, not from the top down. And he says that's also important in how he teaches you things. Because when you go through stuff or you build things, some people are like, I'm going to go from the top up. And he's like, no, big things and big changes and stuff that moves things goes from the ground up. You have to go from the ground up. And that's just what he says.
Got you.
Take that interpretation however you want. I just give what they tell me. I don't like try to explain, because that's for you, however you interpret it. You also have another guide that looks like a flame, and I feel like you're like a twin guide. You know, like when they have like two faces, like one's male and one's female, like the dragons from the Dragon Tales.
Okay.
But they show themselves to me as a flame, or a candle, because I see a purple candle with a flame in a dark room. The purple part is feminine and the flame part is masculine, but they go together. It's like a duality.
Okay.
They say that they're helping you with light in a dark room, but it's like something that you can't get out of. I don't know if you've been feeling really trapped lately or something, but they're saying that you can't get out of the darkness by like banging on the walls. You have to sit and be quiet.
Got you.
And that's what they're helping you with.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to use your other senses, because when you're in darkness, you can't use the normal senses that you have. You have to use like smell and hearing and feeling. And they're like, that's been really hard for you because you've been trying to bang on walls to like kick down the doors, but you can't deal with it that way.
Yep.
That's what they're helping you with. They smell good. They're very clairalient, which I know isn't something that you use a lot.
Clairalience is better than
clairgustance. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They smell like lavender and vanilla.
Interesting.
Because I know you're a warm vanilla girl and I'm a cucumber melon girl, and they smell like vanilla-y lavender. So, I don't know. There's two girls in this world. Those are all of them for right now. The last one that's going to be coming in, though, but doesn't have anything to say, looks like a starry sky. And for me, that deals with directionality. Because people use the stars to find their paths, but they also tell stories.
Got you.
And that one's masculine, but you haven't reached him yet, he says. He just wants you to know that he's on the horizon.
Gross. Will you talk about the 4 that I've never told you about?
Didn't I tell you about the Titan dude? You asked me about him, and I told you he was like a Titan. That's what he looked like, right?
I don't know. I don't remember. I told you that.
I remember something that you don't for once in my life. I think it was over Zoom. Like after or before a reading or something. Because you were like, I think I have a new spirit guide. And I was like, he looks like one of the Titans from Hercules. And you're like, I've never watched Hercules before. And I was like, okay, never mind.
Still have never watched Hercules. He's like 8 feet tall and black.
Yeah. Sorry, your Seraphim dark dude wants to talk. He's very obnoxious.
You can talk to him first if you want. He's just the bottom of the list.
Sorry, he says...
I know he has opinions about being at the bottom of the list.
Okay.
Because he said it after I... Because I told him, I was like, that's why you're at the bottom, dude.
Your Seraphina girl, when you talk, because I know Seraphins, they just scream. I wanted to, like, insert an ibuprofen or migraine joke here, because I'm like, do you just have a migraine all the time because you hear her?
Yes, I do, actually.
So at the very front of your head, like here and behind your eyes?
Yeah, and around my ears.
Yeah, disgusting. Okay. Have fun with that.
I was born this way. I don't know what you're talking about.
Maybe it's her problem.
Wait, did she come in for the 4th grade? Because that's when I started getting headaches. Because that would be funny. In a non-funny kind of way.
She goes like this.
Okay, got it. So no.
Yeah.
Would be funny, though.
You know in Harry Potter when he gets the dragon egg and no one knows what...
You can't hear what they say until you put it in water.
Yeah, that's what you gotta do for her.
Well, I know what she says.
She says you only get portions of it though, because it's... Yeah. She says, put me in water. I don't know if that means literally or if you have to, like, talk to her with only emotions. Because water is emotions.
Okay.
I don't know if she's being cryptic, because that's usually a spirit guide's like to freaking roll. It's obnoxious. They don't ever give you an actual straight answer. But that's what she was telling me, and I wanted to share that with you, so... Do that. That was you will. Yeet it out the window, write it
Why
down.
is she here?
Her immediate answer was, why would I not be? Which is not an answer for you. And I realized that. Oh, okay. She says that you think that you deal with low vibrational things, but you don't. You have a past life with her. She's here to bring your vibration. She says you've had a lot of past lives that you are remembering that are more low vibrational. In whatever way you want to take that as. But you've also had equally as many past lives as a high vibrational creature, and that's why she's here. She's like, you keep forgetting because you've gotten so low that you forgot how high you were.
Wait.
Is talking to her like remembering a different language?
I don't know. It's kind of like I'm a storybook character, and I'm looking at the book through the person that's reading the book's eyes. So, as the person reading the book, I can see everything in the story, where I can't do that if I'm the storybook character. Does that make sense? That's what it's like.
At least she's showing you things from past lives that you've had, or trying to. I don't know, it's weird. She just tells me that you used to be up here, but you keep thinking that you've been down here, and this is where you belong, and where you've, like, come from, and that's not true. She's like, you've been up here for a while. It's just that you started up here, and then your soul had to learn about equally as much down here, which maybe is why your soul took so much time figuring out whether or not they wanted to do a different life, because now you're a little, like, here, and it's weird for you because you've done here to the exact opposite, and now it's a little, like, in between. So the way she explains, the way she talks to you is you understand the language when you hear it, but you can't speak it.
Okay.
Again, do with that what you will. I don't interpret the things. I just give you the
interpretation.
Not that. The depiction. There we go.
Purple guide. Mob. Psycho dude.
He's really funny. He does vibrate. He's like,
When he's at 100%.
You know, like when you put an egg in water and it boils and then it goes at the bottom of the pan.
Okay.
He looks like that, but mixed with an egg timer. So, like, when the timer... You know, like when the timer goes off for, like, 5 minutes, it's just like the little old ones that you put on the stove, and then when they go off, they're like... And they bounce all around.
He looks like a timer?
Well, that's how his energy is like. He's giving me a clairvoyant, clairsentient, clairaudient depiction of his energy.
Mob Psycho at 100%.
Yeah, I get that too. Is he a cherub person?
I don't know, dude. He looks like Mob Psycho. He's new.
Yeah. He's very quiet.
Which means he's claircognizant.
Mm-hmm.
Because he is not quiet to me. Very loud.
Do you have a question for him specifically? Because he doesn't answer things unless you have a direct question.
Why is he around? Why does he exist?
He's not answering that question.
What question does he want me to ask?
I don't know. He holds his hand up like this and he says 2, but I don't know what those 2 questions are, and you might not know what they are either, and that's fine. I don't want you to feel pressured.
I have no idea what my second question is.
The first question wasn't one of the 2, sorry.
So that was the third question.
He says it's not even related. He says, you got 2 questions that you gotta ask me, and that's why I'm here. I don't think you know what those 2 questions are. Not to be
How am
like...
I supposed to ask him? Okay.
Same thing. That's when you're like, you have these reservations about yourself, and I'm like, what are the reservations? I don't know what the reservations are. It's because it's traumatic, so you're just, you don't know what they are.
Oh, so they're traumatic then.
He points to his hand like there's a watch on it, and he says it has to do with time.
Is he a time being?
Yes. But he doesn't mean that your questions have to do with time literally. He means it figuratively. Like, the questions that you have deal with something that happened at a certain time in your life.
And he's a recent guide.
Yes.
Okay.
Is he like this tall when you see him?
No.
No?
He looks like Mob Psycho.
Yeah. I always think Mob is being a tiny person though, so...
Rude. I'm a tiny person.
Did you know when elephants see people, their brain releases the same hormone or chemical that our brain releases when we see things that are tiny and cute? ADHD fun fact of the day. Okay, this big black guy.
The magician dude.
Yeah, he's funny.
Uh-huh.
He doesn't answer questions, he just answers things in sarcasm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, he's an asshole.
It's good sarcasm.
I don't know what that means. He's mean.
He's like Gojo.
Okay. He's mean. I
And
don't.
don't you think Gojo's mean too?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, your Gojo's also specifically mean to me, so.
Yeah, he says you have a lot of things that you need to figure out. He's kind of like the lightning guide. They tell me the same thing with the analogy of you being a lion.
Was he the same guide?
No, they're very different. They just work together, but in different ways. The Thundercloud dude is a lot nicer than this one.
Yeah.
He says he's been screaming things at you through a megaphone, but you don't listen.
Okay.
I don't know what those things are. He just says, I will literally scream things. Like, if someone walked up to you with a megaphone right in your ear, and then now you need to go to the doctor, like that loud. He's very clairaudient. What questions do you have for him? Because he says you don't listen to the things that he wants to say because you don't want to hear them.
Well, what does he want to say?
He says you have to figure that out because I've been screaming it at you, but you won't listen to it.
I don't know what that means.
You know, like in the old cartoons when people yell, like Tom and Jerry, and then you just hear like a trumpet or a trombone with a mute in it going like wah 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 wah, like really loud.
Mm-hmm.
He says that's what he's been doing to you, but you know what it is that he's yelling at you about because when you're watching the cartoons, you know what the character is yelling about, but because it's from the 30s or 40s, 50s, whatever, 40s, they didn't have voiceovers yet with the technology.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, so you don't need me to say it to you. You know what it is based on watching the film without the words.
Okay.
That's what he says.
Well, what is it? Don't know.
I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know what question I'm supposed to ask, apparently, because I
He says you
can't
need to
ask whatever I want.
look at your life like the cartoons and figure out when that screaming happens because that's That's what I'm telling you. I'm helping you through those things. You just need to step back from everything and look at it. But you're too, like, in the cartoon to realize when someone's screaming at you.
Got you.
So, perspective, maybe? Because he says you have to look back at things. I don't know.
Sounds good.
Okay. Yeah, he's funny. I like him. He has tap dance shoes on. And not specifically tap... Okay. I used to work at a car dealership, and if you don't know, men's shoes used to have wooden bottoms, and you only have wooden bottomed, like, dress shoes if you're a fancy man and also want to be obnoxious. And there was one car salesman that thought he was, like, the coolest person ever, and he always smelled like freaking Dior blue or some crazy smell. Like, the whole place would just smell like this dude's cologne because he was too cool for school. And then he had the clicky-clack bottom shoes. Only women in my book have clicky-clack bottom shoes, and when a man does, you're just like, what are you trying to prove? Same vibe. Clicky-clack bottom shoes.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's funny. Yeah. Did you like listening about our spirit guides? Is it going to help you understand your spirit guides? I freaking hope so.
Yeah, if you want to watch more about this, there's another video. I will link it somewhere. But if you like this type of content, make sure to subscribe, hit that notification bell, and we'll see you guys in the next one.
And put comments, like questions that you have for us down below, and then maybe we'll make like YouTube shorts on them or something. On our PsycKicks Extra channel, which is where you can also listen to our podcast. We are your PsycKicks. I can't kick today because I'm wearing a dress.